Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Welcome, everyone. We hope that everyone is having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening to Cafecito and Crime. How you been?
Good.
Just good.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a rainy day. It's beautiful outside. My favorite. I wish I was home. And
You were home.
I really enjoyed today.
You were home. You just got here.
I know.
Okay.
But I wish I was still home.
Okay. Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
wonderful. Mm-hmm. So me personally, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I've had a really wonderful week. So sorry that we're a little bit late, but it's because it was my birthday. Go, Shadi.
That's not why we're late.
No, that's not why we're late. I was late. I was about to say why. So then it was my birthday, and then I had a good time my whole birthday. So I was like just having the ball. Just having a ball, comiendo todo, just indulging.
Yeah, why not?
In 40th
Why not?
birthday stuff. We went to brunch. We did all kinds of stuff. And then next thing you know, on Monday, I started feeling ill.
A little bit.
A little bit ill. My stomach was a little bit off. And then I woke up really early on Monday because my husband left. I was like, oh my God, I had to go drop him off so early. And so then, like if I get something that really fucks with me is my sleep. Like, I don't know why. If I don't have if I'm like, oh, I'm missing 15 minutes, I have to go lay down for 15 minutes. Like, why am I like this?
Yeah.
So I'm like, even though I might not be tired, but in my mind, I'm like, no, es que me tengo que dormir 15 minutos.
Yeah.
I lost 15 minutes, So then I did that. And then, I don't know, I just went downhill after that. I was just having so much fun. Okay. I didn't get my case done on time. So I got in trouble by the manager here.
I mean, tip top.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm,
and it isn't what it isn't. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm. Literally, it wasn't the case.
Not. So yeah, but other than that, it's been really beautiful here. And so yeah, we've been good. I think we've been good. But I had a really awesome birthday. So I'm going to tell y'all what happened to me. I'm laying down in bed and my daughter, mind you, I did my own photo shoot. Well, Estela did help me take the pictures and my daughter did too or whatever. And so then that night, my daughter, I was like, hey, come and help me pick the picture that I want to use for Instagram. Mm-hmm. And she helps me. Pero luego she goes to bed. Y yo me fui a acostar así, sin nada, sin pedo. So in the morning, I get up and I wasn't going to work the next day, which was Friday, my birthday. And so then I told them, she's like, Mom, she texted me. She always texts me in the morning. She came in, she was singing or whatever. Después she's like, did you go outside? Y le dije yo, no. Why did I need to go outside? And she's like, you need to go see what's outside. And I'm like, no, estoy dormida. And so the next thing you know, and so I got up to get my son ready. And then I look out the window and there's this big ass white sign. Mind you, I mean, this thing.
Did you know what it was when you first saw it?
No, when I first saw it, no, I didn't know. I was like, what is that? And my first thought was like, Estela sent it. Mm-hmm. Because that was my first thought. Estela, because I know it wasn't my husband. He's not that, al 100. And then I was like, it's either that, my old doctor, or my best friend.
Yeah.
Because when I went around, when I finally got up, iba allá afuera con mi little robe y todo, así tapadita.
En la mañana.
En la mañanita, con mis little house shoes. Y salí. Cuando voy viendo, I mean, the sign was literally from the side of, and I don't have a small front yard.
Yeah.
Like my yard is pretty decent. So it was from one side to the other. And it said, happy birthday. And it said my name. And then it said happy 40th. And it had a 40th big old 40th at the end. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I go out there and then it has like, in the front, it has like
accessories. I guess
accessories. It had like a Coach purse, Chanel purse,
like things that you're into.
Yes, makeup, and then it had the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So with that right there, I'm like, okay, it has to be somebody that really knows me. Coffee, Starbucks, sorry. Y entonces I'm like, it has to be someone that really knows me. So I'm like, so I told my daughter, I'm like, hey, was it your tía? And then she texted Estela, and Estela's like, no,
it wasn't me. Yeah, like it wasn't me.
And I was like, okay. So then if it wasn't her, then it had to have been either my husband or my best friend.
Yeah. And so, you FaceTimed me. And then we're like, no, maybe it was,
So we're going back and forth. And we're like, no, it was my best friend. And then I was like, no. And then we were like, but it has to be somebody that really knows me.
Yeah.
Because they knew that I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. And that I like makeup and coffee and all these things. Oh, and it had like beers on it. And it was just like...
drink.
Like my shit, And so then I'm like, ¿quién sería? Y ahí estamos. Estela y yo, we talked or whatever, y nada. Next thing you know, I was like, okay, my husband calls and he's like, no, it wasn't me. I'm like, okay, so then who the fuck was it? Al último, I find out it was one of my really good friends I used to work with. Her name is Martha, and I used to work with her, and she did that for me. She called me to sing happy birthday, and I'm like, Martha, somebody sent me a sign, and I don't know who it was. I thought it was the doctor, but it wasn't. And she's like, no, it was me. I'm like, oh my God.
And you had just talked to her like a couple of days before, right?
We were just talking to her, and I was like, I can't believe you did that. Like, and then Estela's, my husband was like, I didn't know that they made that.
And I was I don't know if I told you, but I was like, that was really big during COVID, because obviously, you're supposed to keep your distance or whatever, but it didn't even occur to me,
Yeah.
So.
And so then I leave the house so then now the person that picks up my son to go take him to school is out there, and he's like, happy birthday. I'm like, fuck, now they know I'm 40. And then not only that, but now
all the
neighbors, and then they know my name now. And it was kind of like one of those thoughts, but I was like,
and then I was like,
it was cool.
When I come over, I asked you, did any of your neighbors wish you happy birthday? She's like, no.
Who gives a shit about me? And so then after that,
do you even see your neighbors? I don't think I've ever seen anybody outside.
Never. I think that the only neighbor we talked to was the old lady from right here.
Yeah.
But that's the day we were together.
Yeah.
And that was the only day.
Is she still living there? Because I know she said she was living there with her son.
I don't know if she's still there, pero yeah. And then the neighbors over here, pues no me quieren.
Allegedly. You say.
No, we just say because I go like this to him. I don't, maybe he no me ve, pero yo lo saludo y no me saluda.
Maybe he has glaucoma.
Maybe he has glaucoma. You're right. But if any of our listeners, have y'all had that happen to you? That y'all have did somebody put a sign like that for you guys? Because that's crazy to me. That was a big ass sign. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then I'm like, I need to take a picture with it. My daughter had to stand all the way to the back because
to the middle of the street. Yeah.
But yeah, it was really beautiful. And I really appreciate the fact that, I have people in my life that love me enough to fucking get me a sign.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. We had a good time. I had a good time. I have a good time all the time.
You do.
I do.
As you should.
I make the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
And today, Satan was trying to get to me. My phone wasn't working at work. I said, no.
Was it the rains?
No. You're not going to do it. It was probably the rain.
Yeah.
Then it started raining and the lights were flickering. No.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's Friday. You're not
for
doing
me.
It. Not Satan. Not to me.
Not today.
Not today. And then the patient was on the phone. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me. No, you're not doing it. I'm having a fucking good day.
Yeah. I mean, that happens to you all the time.
All the time. But anyway, today we are going to Conyers, como C-O-N, and then Yers, Y-E-R-S, Georgia.
Okay.
So it's a suburb of Atlanta.
Okay.
It's about 20 miles from there.
Okay.
So that's where we're going to be going today. And if you would like to come with us to Conyers, Georgia, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
We're going to be discussing the case of Jasmiyah Whitehead.
Okay.
So there's one fact.
Just one.
Porque es que all the other ones that was historical. And I was like, I'm not doing it.
We already did that last week.
And we did that last week. So this one was actually pretty cool. So they call it Old Town Conyers. And it's old, O-L-D-E. Why do people spell it like that?
With an E at the end?
Yeah. Have you seen that before?
No.
I don't know if maybe that's just a name or whatever, pero así it was spelled. But the guy, when I asked to see how to spell it, it's old. Anyway, so it's frequently used for filming.
Yeah.
So the place, it's notably as a backdrop for the CW series, The Originals, not only to that, but also commercials and as many more movies as well.
Yeah, it's Georgia. They film a lot of movies there. That's what they're known for.
Georgia is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've heard. I've never been. Have you been to Georgia?
No.
Me neither. I've never been, pero I would go. I would love to eat some peaches out in Georgia. Calma to Justin Timberlake. Anyway.
That's Justin Bieber. Yeah.
Anyway. So on a calm afternoon of January 13th of 2010 at around 3:30, the Rockdale County Sheriff's Department, which is in Conyers, received a phone call to inform the sheriff that there had been a homicide and there was an officer already there, which almost never happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twins, Jasmiyah and Tasmiyah, they're twin girls, Whitehead. And I will refer them as Jazz and Taz because it's a lot easier. Mm-hmm. And that's what they called them everywhere.
Right.
They had to come home from school in the afternoon. And when they walked in, they discovered that their mother was deceased inside of the tub.
How old were they? I'm sorry, did you
16.
say? 16. Okay, sorry.
Not yet, but I was going to get there. So they ran out to the house, out of the house, and coincidentally, like it wasn't like something that happened. There was a sheriff driving by the home. The girls were hysterical, crying, screaming, and they were just so scared. They were just banging on the car window. Now, Commanding Officer Jackie Dunn and Lead Detective Lee Swift arrived at the scene, and they did come across the two girls. By this time, they had already tried to calm them down and sit them down in like somewhere in a quieter place or in a van, while the police was already making its way into the house. Officer Dunn noticed that one of the girls was biting the inside of her arm. So then they asked her, hey, are you okay? Why are you doing this? And she said, this is what I do when I'm nervous. That was her nervous tick.
Yeah. Pobrecitas.
I know. The girls were only 16, as I mentioned before, but it was very difficult for the officer to see them so devastated. Como que se sintió a little bit mal,
Of course, yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, you just walked into your mother being deceased. The two then took the officers to where their to where their mother's body was. It was 34-year-old. Yes.
She was young.
Yes.
She's my age.
Jasmiyah Whitehead. But she was known as Nikki. So for now, I'm going to refer her as to Nikki. Detectives remember seeing a room. When they walked in, they saw just what they could describe, just chaos. Había chairs everywhere, todo tirado. Like there was a big commotion adentro de la. And there was like broken vases, todo. It was just a big commotion. And there was blood everywhere, Stella. So I listened to one of the interviews of the officer Dunn, and he said that he remembers walking in and just le pegó como the smell of pennies.
Okay. Like copper?
Of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the smell of blood. So it was so strong that he's like, that was just like a hit that I got in my face.
It's weird that you say that because my last week's case, cuando la hija Maggie stepped out into the hallway, she said the same thing. Like
the smell of blood.
She was just hit with the stench of blood.
Yeah, so he described it as rust off a penny. Basically.
Right, yeah.
So it was just so extremely, extremely strong.
I don't think I've ever thought of the smell of blood. Have you?
Yes. Well, because I worked with it.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I've had smelled like a lot of blood. And it does smell like pennies. The girl told the officers that their mother was over there. And so there was off the master bedroom in the restroom. And that's where Nikki was lying in the jacuzzi, like tub. It was like one of those like tubs. And she was partially submerged and her head was out of the water. Now there was water inside the tub. Now she was also partially clothed.
Okay.
It was obvious that there had been a struggle, and it was very sad to see how there was almost a trace or a retrace of Nikki's steps in the house. So you can, and I have pictures so that I can show you because I took, screenshots.
Yeah.
And so then you could see donde she was standing one place, she was standing in another place, and then you can see where there's like a drag mark of where I'm guessing that's where the killer, I'm not sure what happened. So when they bring the twins into the room, both of them are still crying uncontrollably. And obviously, for obvious reasons, and then they're both trying to console each other. Like one was trying to be like, it's okay. And the other one, I see. But you can say they were unconsolable. They couldn't stop crying. So they brought them back to the station, and the police began to ask questions when they got there, trying to ensure that they were taking their time and giving them space, because they understood. I mean, they're 16, they're still children.
Thing to process.
They found out that their mother was a hairdresser, and she was in college as well, and she was going to school to become a fashion designer.
Aww.
She was very involved in their academics, and they were both in cheerleading. Wow, not the cheerleading. And they were both straight A students. They told investigators that the night before, Nikki had come from partying, and when they got up from school in the morning, they knocked on her door, and she did not come out. So they just left to school because she didn't.
Right.
As she usually did. They both stated that they had not seen her at all that morning. They came home from school, and that's when they found her dead. Now, I did not put this in here, but I did thought that it was very interesting that one of the girls said, I walked up to the door and I turned the lock. So the lock was the door
Turn
was turned like abrió la puerta, like she put the key in. So that means that
to the front door.
Yeah, to the front door. Okay. So somebody had locked it from the other side. So if the door was
But so how did they leave?
So I guess they got out and they locked the door.
Right. So
they went to school.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when they got there, you would think that if somebody was gonna like try to get in or forcefully, or why would the door be locked from the other side?
Still. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So investigators also walked through the crime scene while they had them there. And they said that the living room was just nothing but evidence of struggle. Once again, there was no forced entry. Once again, because
the door was locked. I mean, there was nothing broken either. No windows.
No window was broken or tampered with or anything like that. Now, whoever had done this to Nikki was this means that they were either let in. She opened the door.
Right.
Investigators knew that they needed to look into Nikki's partner, because that's the first thing you do. You always look at the partner and you question them as soon as they found out that. They asked the girls about their father, and they said, no, our father is not in our lives. I think that when he found out Nikki was pregnant, he left and he moved to Canada.
Wow. Oh, damn.
Yeah, he said bye. He said all the way to Canada.
He's like, I'm going to flee the country.
The twins did tell investigators that Nikki was in a relationship with a man named Robert Head.
Head? Cabeza?
Head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bárbara, ya. Sigue, persíguele. I mean, síguele. Stop it.
Okay. Because, I mean, okay. Mr. Head. Mr. Robert was a truck driver, and he was much older than Nikki. It was about a 20-year difference. So the detectives also find out that the house that they're living in right now in Coyers, I can't say it, was his. Okay. And he was allowing them to stay there.
Because he was on the road. Yeah.
According to the girls, they had kind of like a sugar daddy relationship.
Oh, okay.
So let me tell you a little bit about that. Going on, that their mother talked to a lot of men, and one in particular they remember, besides Mr. Head, was that the one in particular was Joe. Now, Joe and their mom, they said they had a really turmoil relationship. Tumultuous relationship. They were always fighting.
On and
off and that kind of thing. So they now needed to look into Mr. Robert and see if he had anything to do, obviously, with the murder.
Did you say his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert Head.
Oh, this time, Mr. Robert.
Yeah, Mr. Robert. So at this point, the girls told the detectives that the night before they had overheard their mother arguing with Robert because he found out that she was dating another man.
Not Joe?
Well, I guess Joe, but other men. They started to look for Robert, and they quickly found his employer. And when they found the employer, they contacted them, and they found out that Mr. Robert is actually out of state.
Right.
So he wasn't there. When they contacted and confronted him, he told them that the night before the murder, they did argue. So he did say, we did argue, and they had a confrontation, but he said that they had an agreement. So he knew and she knew that if he was out of town, she can see other people.
Okay.
But when he was home,
they were together.
They were together.
Okay.
So this is how that
was their relationship.
That was their relationship, and it worked for them.
Yeah.
He told the detectives that he loved her and that was his princess.
Oh.
I know, that was so sweet. And that he understood that their age difference was there. So that's another reason why he agreed with her having other men.
I guess he just cared to just have her in his life any way that he could.
Their agreement was clear since day one, so there really wasn't a reason, if they were arguing, for them to have a fight. They were arguing for
They were just arguing.
Yeah. So Robert said that it was a small argument, but it wasn't like something that would take them to... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when the police looked into his tracker of his truck, honestly, he was not there. He was driving and he was west. He was not even in the same area of where the murder happened.
That's what I was about to say. He was probably already on the road. Yeah.
So now the police needed to look into Joe, right? Because the girls mentioned Joe, and that's the reason why Mr. Head was upset with, Nikki. Now the twins informed the police that around 3 a.m. their mother had been arguing with him, and they said that her and Joe had kept going back and forth and yelling. And one of the girls, I think it was Jazz or Yaz, I'm not sure which one, and she said, he did. I guess they broke up because she says, do not come over my house.
Okay.
And so then they told the investigators that they had broken up because that's what they figured from that. Yeah.
Yes.
And then also another comment that they mentioned that they heard their mom say was, please just have a nice life. So I'm guessing they thought that they had broken up. Mm-hmm. And that this was the night of the murder.
And they're young, so they just probably assume, they mean it. they're
adults. They're 16.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A witness then said that besides the arguing that happened, that there was a black car that was parked in front at around 1:30. Now they're like, okay, so let's go look into this. When they look up Joe Carter, which is the name of Joe, Joe, he actually had a black car registered to him.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, now we really need to go find Joe.
Was Joe at the house?
Yeah. So Joe works at the barber shop that is next door to the shop where Nikki did hair.
Okay.
So when they went to question him, he was very apprehensive. Actually, the whole barber shop, according to the cops, was like, the barber shop was just looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
And they were very like, bro, we're not going to say nothing. But as soon as they got to Joe and they started telling him, we need to speak to you about Nikki, he was like, let's go.
Okay.
Like he
knowing that it involved her.
He's like, let's go. The news was broken to him that Nikki was murdered, and he was devastated, Estela. The investigator said that his hands were shaking from how shocked he was of what they were saying. He was visibly distraught over what had happened. And the detective stated that they could tell that he was just not acting. You can't act that out.
Yeah.
And he was truly upset. He started crying, and he said he admitted to have gotten into the argument with Nikki, but it wasn't enough for him to have wanted to murder her. But it was enough since he did agree that he did admit to arguing with Nikki. So they were like, you need to come in for questioning. When they questioned him, like I said, they had a rocky relationship. He knew that she was with Mr. Robert and that she lived at his home. He knew about their relationship, but he was okay with it.
Joe knew of Mr. Whitehead. Mr. Whitehead knew about Joe.
No, not Whitehead, just regular Head. Robert Head.
Oh. Whitehead is Nikki's last name. Oh, I'm sorry. So Mr. Joe knew about Mr. Head, and then Mr. Head knew about Mr. Joe.
Everybody knew everybody.
Everybody was in the know.
So he said that they were actually arguing because of the amount of her drinking.
Okay.
So he was kind of concerned with that, and also where did their relationship stand, because what was going on. He also said that he was at the barbershop. Now, the barbershop was about 16 miles away from the home. And they asked for a polygraph test, and he said yes. As we know, they're not very, reliable, but it'll give them a little bit. It's 2010, maybe. But he did pass the test without problems. He confirmed that he was, and then his coworkers also, everyone confirmed that he was at the barbershop that night of the murder, or the time frame that she would have been murdered.
Yeah.
This leaves the black car that was in the area, remember? So when...
and then you said that the black car was seen in the area at around 1:30 in the morning?
In the afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Yeah. Okay. So remember, according to the girls, they left in the morning to go to school. So around 7-ish.
Y no abrió la puerta.
Y they went to knock, y no abrió la puerta. They ran out and they left for school, right? So...
And then at 1:30 p.m.
At 1:30 p.m., someone reported that, I guess from all of the talking around, the investigating, and stuff like that, they found out there was a car out there. So this car that they went to go and investigate, it turns out that it actually had a sign from the post office. So the car had been logged in by the post office.
Really?
Which means that it was in the way of getting to someone's mailbox. So that car had already been there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that was new, and they were actually just visiting someone that was up the street.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't something to be concerned with. So they were removed as a suspect.
Yeah.
They also got a tip that there was another car, but this car was red, and it was actually in the driveway.
Okay, metido.
Yeah. So whenever they go around and look at everything, they find out that around 3 p.m. there was a car that was out there. So they're like, okay, 3 p.m. is around the time that they believe that maybe she was murdered. The thing is, Nikki's friend said, yes, that was me. I drive that car, and I was sitting out there, because it turns out that not only did Nikki work at the shop, she also went to school, but she also did at home, like lashes and hair and that kind of thing. So that girl was supposed to come over to get her hair done by Nikki. So she said she drove up. She had an appointment with her. She knocked. No one opened. She knocked again. She said, oh, maybe she forgot that I had the appointment, and she drove off. So the police looked into the cell phone records, and they were able to determine that, yeah, she was just there for a few minutes, literally, like no more than 20 seconds. And she was gone.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And for someone that was murdered this brutally, there was no way that they could have done it in 20 seconds. There's no way.
No, you couldn't even make it to the room in 20 seconds.
Exactly. So the police said that after this, they're looking back into the, crime scene to see if they could find out, who could have done something like this. Is there another lead somewhere? So, I mean, they were kind of worried that the case was going cold. And the lead detective, Swift, he felt so bad. He was like, I really wanted to find who did this for her, because the killer, everybody saw like the woman that was murdered, but I saw the woman that she grew up rough. She grew up in a rough town or whatever, in a rough situation, and she was trying to better herself for her children. He felt so bad that he was like, I wonder what was going to happen to the girls. Like, who's going to get their custody if they don't even have a dad, whatever it is. So he was really heartbroken. And he said that he had a card, her business card, the Nikki, and her business card were her eyes. So then he had it, and he showed a picture in the interview, and he had it there en su office, donde la tenía allí. So he's like, I needed to remember that she needed me to find out who did that to her. Oh, yeah, he's a good
one. Yeah.
So the twins, once again, they were just so devastated. They kept calling out for their mom, like, I want my mom, but they would always call out for their grandma.
And it was just the two girls.
Okay. Yeah. The person that they were calling out for is their great grandma, not their actual grandma.
So it would have been Nikki's grandma.
Nikki's grandma, and she's 73-year-old Della Frazier. The police did learn after looking into Della that she, not too long ago, was had sole custody of the girls. Okay. So maybe like a few months ago, she was the primary custody. Yeah, primary custody. So Nikki grew up with her because she was raised by her. Now, she was born after Nikki's mom was in jail.
Okay.
So Nikki was born in jail.
Okay.
So then su mamá la recogió, which is Della, and that's how Nikki ended up with her grandma.
Okay.
Right? The thing is, she ended up pregnant with the girls at 17.
Okay.
So they were born on October the 10th of 1993, and her grandmother was like, it's okay. I'm going to help you.
Right.
We're going to get through this, right? So, I mean, Nikki's mom really wasn't in the picture, pero ya al último, she kind of started getting a little bit more
coming
around and stuff like that. Now, Nikki wasn't perfect at all. We know that. Right. Pero she was a teen mom, you know? And not only that, she was a teen mom of twins, and her partner left her.
Right.
And went to Canada.
And then your kid.
She was a kid.
You're a kid.
17 is your frontal lobe? Nada.
No.
Nada. So then she ended up, obviously was okay with her grandma having custody of the girls. But, the girls kind of saw Nikki as their sister. Not really as their mom. So because the one that would put like the food on the table and that kind of stuff was Della, right? Growing up, they were like younger, whatever, but they were
especially quien las cuidaba, who would put rules in front of them, and
whatever it is, or the little bit or a lot of bit rules. It was not Nikki, it was Della, because she had to follow Della's rules too. Now, like I said, it didn't mean that Nikki wasn't in their life. It was just that at that moment she let her grandma a different role.
And now you said that she had them back under custody under her and was trying.
So at this point, around a month or two before the murder happened, Nikki stopped having communications with her grandma because her great grandma didn't want.
No, Nikki. Yeah. Okay, say that again. I'm sorry.
Her grandma didn't want for the girls to leave with Nikki. She wanted to keep them. So it turns out it not even actually been 2 weeks before the murder happened.
Wow. Okay.
So they had just went over there. So based on what I picked up was that she met Mr. Robert when she was 25.
Okay.
So she had been dating him for a while. So then after that, her dating him and all of that, Mr. Robert said he wanted to take care of her. As he said before, that's her princess. He fell in love with her. So then he had this home. Now the home where they're living at, this place is and I read everywhere, it's a very nice place. It's very, like había better schools and all of that. Basically, it wasn't
like, it was like a suburb.
A suburb, yeah. So he offered to take them with him, and they could live there while he was gone in his home. So basically, para que las girls pudieran ir a better school and that kind of thing. And so then that's around the time that Nikki started saying, okay, I might need to take custody of the girls, right? So they did want to investigate Della anyway, because they're like, well, I mean, if they were an odds, you never know what could have happened. The only thing that they could have think of was that She could have been a little bit upset because whenever Nikki took the girls back, le quitaron like the supplementation that they were giving her from the government and so, or from the state. And so they're like, maybe it could have been because of that. They were just trying to make something out of it, right? So when they did call her in for questioning, Della did come in 6 hours late. So
damn.
She was like,
she said, I got stuff to do. I'll be there when I can.
Busy. I'll be there when I'll be there. I mean, the thing is, they also needed to, when she came in, she was not in a position to where she could have withstand the attack for at least 30 minutes. So the attack that the investigators think that happened to Nikki, it had to have happened in a kind of a larger time frame. For 73-year-old to everything that she went through to attack Nikki.
Like based on how the room was found?
Exactly. There was no way that
Della could have handled that.
Her ¿cómo se llama? Su physical state, it wasn't okay for her to be able, or enough for her to be able to do that. And
like
also,
she would have been the one that lost.
Exactly. Not only that, but Nikki did not go down without a fight.
I'm sure.
Like she fought
hard.
So I mean, she had physical limitations. So it's not that I'm not saying that she couldn't have, but it was just kind of not likely. And not only that, but her alibi was it was confirmed. It showed up as being pretty solid. So she couldn't have been the one that killed Nikki. This puts the detectives back to square one with no leads. When investigating the background on what was going on between the twins and that whole great grandma and grandma thing, they find out some interesting information about the girls. They found out that there have been several incidents where the girls were getting aggressive with their mom. So the cops have been called to Della's house multiple times. And back in June of 2008, so around the time the girls were like 13, police were called. And when they arrived, Nikki was running towards the police car, screaming and crying, kind of like her daughters just did for her. And she had marks all over her neck and she had marks all over her face and she was bleeding and her arms. And when the officer was like, okay, calm down, what is going on? The only thing that Nikki was able to say was that the girls had jumped on her.
Oh my gosh.
So they literally jumped her.
Yeah.
Like whooped her.
Yeah.
And when the officer questioned them both, it was a female officer. And when they were questioned, the officer says they showed no emotion, no regret. They were just like, yeah, we did it.
At the time when it happened in 2008.
And when they were 13.
Yeah.
But they had no marks. So Nikki had not hit them.
Yeah. Back.
You know? So something had happened, but it had nothing to do with Nikki hitting them. So, and then the fact that the police still remembers the calmness that they had whenever they were questioned, like, you know, they didn't give a shit. It scared her. She's like, that was very, very unsettling. After this, they were taken to court and placed under their care of the grandma again. So they were back to the great-grandma's house. Yeah. With this discovery, the police decided to investigate the girls a little bit further because they're like, okay, so you didn't tell us this prior history, right? When they were going through the recounting of the events, they had told the police that they missed the bus in the morning. Because they knocked on her mom's door and no salió. So they were like, we missed the bus.
Right.
But we walked into school only missing 15 minutes of class.
Okay.
So that's going to put them like, let's say 15 minutes, like 7:30 por ahí.
I don't know what time school starts. I don't know.
Pero early. Okay. Most of the time early, right? And so police had the team walk the route that the girls would have walked.
According to what they said.
And to see if they found any cameras that had recorded the girls walking. So... But then also they asked the police officers to pull the video of the school, and it showed that they walked into the school until 10:15 a.m.
Oh, goddamn. That's more than 15 minutes.
More than 15 minutes. And that does not account for the 2.5 hours to where were you and what were you doing.
Exactly.
Now, there's also marks on the floor inside of the crime scene and the room and places in the restroom donde it looked like they had tried to wipe things down. So if you're wiping things down with towels or with whatever, but then if you're just a random killer, why would you put them to wash?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, why? So they found all of the towels so you could see the marks of the streaks. Como que se cansaron and they were like,
we'll just throw them in the washer.
And then now they're like, como que there was like, it's too much blood. I'm just going to go throw them in the washer. And that's exactly what it was. They were in the washer. They also found some boots that were, I don't know if they were like used to, maybe they were wearing them that day or whatever, something like that. But they were back in their box and inside of the closet.
Mm-hmm. So they were like put back.
Like they were up. Anyway. So besides that, the detectives did look back a little bit further and noticed when they were talking, the first one, that they were adamant that either Joe or Robert had done something to
or had been involved.
They were involved. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like not weak, but it was kind of weird. So they brought up that again, and they did get phone records of Nikki's phone to see who was she talking to the night around the time that she was saying that they were fighting with Joe. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it turns out that it was not Joe. It was a family friend that they were talking to. And not only that, when they called the friend to ask him, he said, no, I spoke to them. And I spoke to Nikki, and I spoke to Jazz and Yes.
Okay.
So they all spoke to him and they were all fine. They were well.
At that time
that they said that Joe...
They were arguing.
Yeah. So they were like, no, there's no way. I spoke to them. So I'm going to go back a little bit to where the girls were living with Della. Since Della was an older lady, the girls would, they did what they did. They wanted to. They were just, they didn't have many rules. They just kind of were out and about. And when Nikki comes back, and then, like I said, she met Robert, she was like, no, I'm going to take over now. So she started to try to put rules on them. Mm-hmm. And then when she decided to move in with him, the girls...
move into his property?
Into his property. The girls and leaving the girl, telling the girls, okay, you're going to move in with me now. And Nikki thought it would be better for them since her grandma was getting older.
Right.
And she's like, well, I mean, it's not easy. If it isn't easy for me to take care of them, imagine her, que ya está grande. So this is when they moved into Robert's home.
And it's not even just one kid. Son dos,
Not only that, but it was like, now you have to live by my rules. Mm-hmm. And she put her foot down and she was like, no, you're going to live I'm
going to tell you
what
your
to
curfew
do, whatever
and like your chores.
And they weren't having it. I mean, there wasn't any like, concrete evidence that the girls were out doing things that they weren't supposed to, but apparently they had been caught like smoking marijuana or like out with boys and that kind of thing. And so they thought that their mom was a hypocrite because she got pregnant at 17.
Right.
And she was out there partying and all this stuff. So they were like, oh, you can't tell me
when you were out
doing the same thing.
Yeah. Of course.
Now, me as a mother, I understand where Nikki's coming from, right? Because I'm like, Nikki, I would have done the same thing because I don't want you to go through what I went through,
exactly.
Right? But because the girls only saw what they wanted to, right?
No, pero también you can tell your kids everything. Give them all the advice.
I mean, you can't.
You can tell them, don't do this. It's going to affect you this way. Pero
at that age,
van a aprender a la mala.
Yes. So all Nikki wanted for them was just to stay out of trouble and make sure that she gave them the best life that she could. I don't remember if I heard somewhere or I read somewhere that Nikki would work really hard for them. So they were always wearing the best clothes that they could have. Like, las traía siempre bien vestidas. Like, she was working for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just don't think that the girls saw that. They just saw, oh, she wants to tell me what to do,
Yeah.
And so there are reports that Nikki did tell one of her friends or like one of her close people that she knew that she thought that the girls, she didn't understand why they were being so evil. Like she was like, they're just so mean, so evil to me. She even told one of her friends that she kind of was scared of them because they were not okay. So when they moved into the home with Nikki and with Robert, Nikki had made them a welcome home party, and both of the girls, they acted so crazy. They were throwing food
at each other.
At her and screaming at her, and they were in their room, and all the family was there. I felt so bad, Estela. She even made them like a poster that said "Welcome home" and all these things. Y ella le rompieron todo eso a la señora. Like they were just
not having it.
And so they were just mad because they were there and they wanted to.
Well, también it's a big change to, you've been gone most of our lives. You've been...
Well, she wasn't gone.
No, but I'm saying you were... I'm not saying that what the girls were doing was right. I'm just saying that, you were there in our lives, but like a sister, and now you want to be a mother.
Yeah.
Como que,
I get that. Yeah.
Pero también, I mean, there's obviously a difference between kind of being like, hey, I don't see you in this role. You know, te voy a hacer caso as opposed to, I'm going to throw tantrums at my big ass age, the 16.
At 16, yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh. So at the crime scene, the investigators also found a journal written by them, and they told a different story than the way that they were acting, that they wanted their mommy and all this stuff. Yeah, it was totally different. It spoke about how angry they were and how unhappy they were living there. They wrote something like, if we're ever going to get back to Della's or my grandma's or whatever, it must be soon. And then it looked like they were like writing it y luego se lo pasaban.
To each other?
To each other. I guess not to talk out loud.
Right.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty smart. But anyway, and so then, and then the other one wrote, yeah, she has to go. There was also another thing that they found was a broken vase. It was a red vase, and it had DNA of Nikki and the twins.
En el cuarto?
No, en la sala.
Okay.
Now, we need to remember, they're identical twins, so their DNA is the same. So anything that they found, police couldn't see if it was Yaz or if it was Jazz because they have the same DNA, but it was Nikki's. One of them and Nikki's.
Yeah.
That's all.
Or both of them.
Or both of them and Nikki's. So when the autopsy was done to Nikki, they found that there was hair between her teeth. Hair. So when they tested the hair that they had found, they wanted to find out, why was there hair in your teeth? Like, why was there? Excuse me, why was that there? So another thing that I wanted to mention was that she was stabbed around 80 times.
Oh my God.
Not like, no, like stabbed 80 times. So the hair that was matched in between her teeth was of the twins.
Yeah.
Not sure which one, but it was one of the twins. So
because just a hair, right? It's not like there were multiple.
A hair. Estaba como adentro de la boca. No, in her teeth.
Like stuck in her teeth.
So this reminded them whenever one of the girls, I don't know if it was, I think it was Jazz, was biting herself.
Oh, yes.
Whenever they first got there at the
yes.
beginning. And when they were looking back at the injury pictures, you can see the bite mark. So at the bite mark, you can, like, even before they even tested anything, you could see que había una gap in the front teeth of the bite mark. And that gap, Nikki has a gap in her teeth. With that being said, the girls were also asked what happened to their hands when they had gone first to the police station, because estaban todas cortadas and everything. And they said, that they had gotten into a fight at school. The cops didn't really
think anything of it,
but they pictured them or whatever. So they made a mold of Nikki's teeth, and then they used it to compare the mark on the twins' arm, which was, I think it was Jazz, I want to say, I think it was Jazz. And it was a match. It was like a perfect match.
Yeah.
Now, with this evidence, on May the 21st of 2010, the twins were both arrested. Now, just before they graduate, this was the day before they graduated from high school.
At 16?
Well, in 2010, ya habían pasado almost 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm confused in the timeline.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. So ya había pasado a little bit of time. I'm sorry. It was in 2010. I apologize. So on May 21st, they were arrested and taken into custody, and they were shown the evidence that they found, and they confronted them with the evidence, and they did make a full confession on tape.
Okay.
Full confession. Anybody could watch it. It's online. They separated them at this point because when they were questioning them first, they were always together. But this time they were like, no, we're going to separate them.
Right.
Yeah. They went ahead and explained exactly what happened, or one of the girls explained what happened. Their day began as the twins woke up for school. As they said, they started to argue. Now, they said that they had knocked on her door and she wasn't out. Pero now they're saying she was in the kitchen and she was walking around. Now their argument started, they're saying that it was something insignificant, like they had done something or they were late or something like that. So they're saying that Nikki is cooking and that has a pot in her hand. According to them, so this is what they're saying.
And Nikki's not here to
exactly.
Say her side of the story. So
the argument escalated and it turned violent. According to them, her mother, Nikki,
their mother
came to Taz and started to want to come at her with the pot. And she was actually hit with the pot. Now, that was Jazz. Now, Taz said that now that they're tussling with the pot and everything, and she was trying to get her off of her sister. So she goes and she grabs a knife and she starts to stab her mom, Nikki. So they're stabbing her back and forth, back and forth. And then at this point, she said it was kind of a joint effort. That's what she said. So apparently Taz had her by the arms and then Jazz had her by her feet. So la traían como cargándola así. They were taking her.
After they had stabbed her.
After they had stabbed her. I mean, multiple times. It wasn't 80 we're talking here. And now the girls and Nikki were around the same size. So now, I mean, Nikki's fighting for her life.
Right.
She is fighting for her life against two. Not only is Jazz coming at her, but now Taz too. One is stabbing her. The other one is hitting her. Like, it's like a whole thing. One of the girls, I don't know which one, was like, they were screaming everywhere. Everybody it was just a lot of commotion. And so Taz had her in a headlock. And Nikki was doing everything that she could to get out of that headlock. Y fue cuando la mordió.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. And now she was trying to escape her daughter. So she was able to bite her. Right. And so that's when Jazz started to pick up the knife now. And she started to stab her too. Now, she said that it was multiple times. She doesn't remember. But Nikki, I want to remind everyone, was stabbed everywhere. She was stabbed in the head, in the neck, on her breast, in her back, on her arms, everywhere.
It was very just donde pudieron.
Jazz said that she was bleeding from everywhere and there was blood everywhere. She said that her mom was winning the fight at one point. Like, se las estaba, madreando. And she picked up the pot and hit her. I mean, the pot, pero I think that they were confused because they say pot, pero it wasn't actually a vase and it was red. So she said, I picked up the pot and it was, and I hit her with it.
I'm sorry. I just pulled up their pictures. They look like their mom.
They look like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Wow.
And then she said that after that, her mom bit her in the chest. So aquí. And so she said that she was trying to get her off. So she's like, I'm punching her. And she's like, she's not letting me go. So then she wouldn't let her go. And then Taz, the other one, started stabbing her to get her off of her sister. Now, Jazz started to choke her. What are those called? The ones that you win, the ribbons? Como the awards que te ponen aquí, que you win an award and they give you a medal. She started to choke her with that ribbon. A su mom. Yeah. And so then Taz said that her mom, now this is a little bit of conflicting information because they said that after she was like, she was able to let herself out of whatever the chokehold that she had her. And Taz said that her mom left the house. Now, at first, I was like, well, why would she leave the house? But then whenever the investigators did go next door, they did find blood in the neighbor's home. So they don't know if maybe the blood was from the girls walking out or something like that. Or did she try to go knock and get help and nobody came out? Like, they don't know.
And then she went back inside.
And then she went back inside. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was blood. But it could have been something else. Like, I don't know. You know how transfer is? I really don't know.
Yeah.
So then at this point, she said that she came back and they continued to fight. They started fighting again.
What?
So I don't know what got into them or whatever, but the two of them, obviously there were 2 against 1. They started to drag their mother into the bathtub and Nikki was still alive. She was still alive. And I'm going to show you the picture of the drag. And I think that this is the most like, I was like, oh my God. Like,
graphic? Oh yeah.
It's just
blood on the carpet.
On the carpet. It's just like a track. Basically. Yeah. And so she's
like a drag mark.
Yeah. And so then she says that they started to put her in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Why did they put her in the bathtub? I don't know.
Y lo llenaron, right?
Y lo llenaron. Yeah. So they put her and she says Nikki was still alive. And then she tells the officer that she was still talking to them. And so they ask her, well, what was she saying to you? Jazz said, she told me that she hated me and she was telling me that that they were going to go to jail. And then she said, yeah. And then she went under a few times and that's it. She said just like that. And then the officer's like, that's it. What? Like, what do you mean that's it? And she's like, that's it. She died, I guess. And then after that, she was like, they were like, well, what were you telling her back? And she's like, I kept crying and I kept saying I was sorry. They did turn the water, like I said, on and she just laid there. I don't think she drowned. I think she died from the injuries because there was no drowning, pero they just left her there.
Yeah, she probably died from blood loss.
And they just took themselves to school, Estela.
At 10 in the morning.
At 10 in the morning.
How do people do that?
they did get caught on camera going to one of the trash bins at the school, and they threw something in it. So you see como cuando están caminando, and one of the girls, I don't know which one, and you can see where they throw it away. But by the time that the investigators saw the video, it was already too late.
Yeah. Ya ha pasado mucho tiempo.
Ya ha pasado mucho tiempo. So I'm going to show you the pictures of the crime scene. So this is what the original crime scene, what they walked into.
Wow.
So there's just, as I said, there's just blood everywhere.
All over the place.
Look,
yeah.
Blood everywhere. But anyway, on January of 2014, Tamayo pleaded guilty after asking for voluntary manslaughter because they were trying to see if they can get her a lesser, get her like a deal. But on February 7th of 2014, 1 month after her twin, Jasmiyah, pleaded guilty, the same charges were serving the same sentence to her sister. So on July the 12th, I'm going to go back a little bit. On July the 12th, I need to tell you this because they went to go pick them up from their home where they were with their great grandma. And so when they put them in the truck, they were talking so much shit, and they have the audio of them talking shit because, they have.
Yeah, they record.
Yeah. So this is what Jazz said. She said, and I quote, "What the fuck we waiting for?" Okay. Then Taz said, they having fucking coffee and donuts and having a good jolly old time. They don't care. Then the Jazz says, they're talking about some damn bite marks, right? And then she said...
And this is when they were being picked up.
They're already picked up para llevárselos ya, to...
the police.
Yeah, the police.
I mean, to the jail.
They're saying that they have mama's teeth on my arm. And then Taz says, I'm not going down for something I did not do. And then Jazz says, me either. Then Taz says, the day you find a murder... with my fingerprints on it, I guess she meant like murder weapon, with my fingerprints on it or something, please do that. Please find a murder weapon and then get me the real person. And then Jazz said, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who were they talking to? Themselves?
Themselves. They were talking to themselves. They were going back and forth. Ya las llevaban para llevarlas. Esto fue antes de que they actually put them in jail, when they read them their rights and all of that. That sounded like they were kind of like mocking the cops.
Yeah.
And so the original plea was not guilty. But then, like I said before, they did change it to guilty so that they can get a lesser charge. Supposedly, one of them is up due for parole in 2026 and the other one in 2027. But there hasn't been any concrete evidence of that. But they did go... since they pleaded guilty, they did get a charge of 30 years each in jail for killing their mother. Nikkie. I think that at the beginning, the cop, I think he got a little bit too involved. And I think he says that in one of the interviews. I think he got a little bit too involved. So he was kind of like closing himself to believing that they had done that.
Right.
So a lot of things like, for example, the knife and that kind of thing. And those things were kind of seen later. Porque I feel like he didn't go after that immediately, and that's kind of sad because I feel bad for him as well because he really thought that he was trying to help them, and they were just psychopaths. Like they were.
You can't have tunnel vision. You have to.
And he says that he's like, you can't have tunnel vision. But I feel like they were just playing him.
Yeah.
And
it's because nobody would have expected for it to be the girls. Like, I didn't think that this is where the case was going to go.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly. So,
yes. And the matter of fact, when they were asked why did they do that, they said that they just didn't have any reason for it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah. It wasn't like they were planning on it or anything. Now,
I don't think it would have been that messy if that was the case. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
They were 16 and they probably didn't know what they were doing. And
I said, I'm sure they did not know
not only that, but Nikki, like I said, she put up a fight.
Yeah.
And you know what? Rest in peace to Nikki. And I do feel like, I think that her mom, like her actual mom, her mom. Yeah, her mom's name, no me acuerdo su nombre, pero she came to the proceedings and she just said that she just wanted what was fair for her daughter and this other stuff. And
and I can imagine, pobrecita Dela también, like, she lost her granddaughter who she raised.
Yeah.
And then she was raising her girls, her great granddaughters, and then they killed her.
Yeah.
Granddaughter.
Honestly, would it have been a difference if Della wouldn't let them do whatever they want? Would they have maybe turned on her? we would never know.
Yeah.
We'll never know. And then at one point, like the girls, I remember one of the quotes that they had, they were like, oh yeah, when they were first crying or whatever, like I always wanted to say that I wanted her to die, but she actually died.
Oh.
But you killed her.
Yeah.
But this is the case of Nikki Whitehead.
Yeah.
And very, very sad case. And unnecessary because, just be nice to everybody.
Please.
So let us know what you think. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, leave us a review or rate us. We would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you in the next one.
Bye.